former President Donald Trump had another meltdown on
Truth Central
on Monday. This is over the next possible indictment coming in Georgia, where a grand jury was convened earlier today in order to hear about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's investigation into Donald Trump's efforts to steal the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. So here's what he posted in all caps, of course. I understand through illegal links to the fake news media that phony Fani, that's actually not bad, phony Fani, Willis, the DA of Fulton County, Georgia, wants desperately to indict me on the ridiculous grounds of tampering with the 2020 presidential election. Now, look, all of that's in reference to the January 2nd, 2021 call with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, the 11,780 votes, which is one more than what he needed to win, of course. Just find them. You got to find me the votes. And if you don't find me the votes, that's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you.
Can't let that happen.
Okay. So look, that was a direct quote from Donald Trump to Raffensperger, by the way. So clearly an effort to intimidate him into finding votes that didn't exist. So, of course, back to
Truth Central.
He said in all caps, "No, I didn't tamper with the election. Those who rigged and stole the elections were the one doing the tampering, and they are the slime that should be prosecuted. I made a perfect phone call of protest. Why wasn't this fake case brought 2.5 years ago? Election interference." Fun fact, Fani Willis started her investigation of Donald Trump in Georgia days after Trump's phone call to Raffensperger back in 2021. And by the way, that's not the only phone call Trump had made to Georgia election officials. That was before he started his newest presidential campaign. But, election interference, right? For an investigation that started 2.5 years ago. Makes you wonder, other than, of course, trying to get back into power, why he wanted to immediately start his election campaign. Maybe it's because he knew all these investigations were ongoing, had begun, and that he wanted to get ahead of them so that he can come back later and claim election interference. Look, the guy's a dumb person, but that's a pretty simple strategy. That's more of a PR move than anything. Oh, I'm going to get out ahead of it. And then I'm going to claim election interference for an election that I just started. So it gets better, though. Here's a quote from Truth Social. I almost said Truth Central, so thanks. Appreciate that. He wrote, "Would someone please tell the Fulton grand jury that I did not tamper with the election?" I do love the idea that, he thinks, even if it's not true, I still love this idea, that only if only someone would tell the grand jury that Trump didn't do it, they would just call the whole thing up. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, I never knew that Donald Trump didn't actually tamper with the election. No. Well, now that I know, obviously we're going to have to call the whole thing off. He says he didn't do it. Yeah, case closed. Ridiculous, right? Come on. He added, "The people that tampered with it were the ones that rigged it, and sadly, phony Fani Willis, who was shockingly allowed Atlanta to become one of the most dangerous cities anywhere in the world." That's not actually true. Look it up. "Has no interest in seeing the massive amount of evidence available." What evidence? "Or finding out who these people that committed this crime are." Again, not true. And he adds, "She only wants to get Trump." You know what? That part's actually true. She does want to get Trump. Do you know why she wants to get Trump? Because he did crime. Allegedly. That would be a pretty good reason for someone to go and get you. If you've been accused of doing crimes. It's kind of like a prosecutor's job. Just say. But look, actually, the prosecutor's job is to get to the truth, and if there are if there was indeed any crimes committed, to actually hold people accountable to those crimes. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this process, is to hold Donald Trump accountable if he is found guilty of these crimes. And that's what the whole, process is about, adjudicating it through the courts. Okay. And now what's great here is that this may be treated as a racketeering case. And that's something that Fani Willis is pretty good at. Okay. There was a leaked draft that came out this morning. Basically RICO charges along with conspiracy. And so that was quickly retracted. But that's got a lot of people in a panic, especially Donald Trump. But I didn't get to the best part. And that is where Trump actually may have just done some witness tampering. Surprisingly, this is not written in caps. He wrote, "I'm reading reports that failed former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, will be testifying before the Fulton County Grand Jury. He shouldn't." Wait, what are you doing telling a witness that they should not testify? He also said, "I barely know him, but he was right from the beginning of this witch hunt." By the way, let's just go back to the "I barely know him." I wonder if there's pictures now. There's got to be pictures of them together. Because usually that's what happens. Not all the time. And maybe there are no pictures of them together, but I wouldn't be surprised. No. Just because I barely knew him. Coffee boy. Errand boy. What are you going to do? Anyway, he said, right from the beginning of this witch hunt, a nasty disaster for those looking into the election fraud that took place in Georgia. Again, the only election fraud would be Donald Trump trying to interfere with this election, allegedly. He said he refused to having a special session to find out what went on. Became very unpopular with the Republicans. Gee, I wonder why. I refused to endorse him. And fought the truth all the way. A loser. He went to CNN. My God, man. Look, the question, of course, is, does Donald Trump ever stop potentially incriminating himself? Now, the answer of that, of course, is no. Because at the end of the day, he can't really help himself